Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome to another machine learning project video. So in this video we are going to do the project of virtual keyboard using machine learning, Python, and we are going to use a lot of libraries such as the MediaPipe, the OpenCV, and we are also going to use the math library and etc. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, guys, as usual, I'm going to use here the Visual Studio Code IDE. So I'm going to open here. So if you don't have the IDE, so I'm going to give you the link in the description below. So go there and download from that link. Now, guys, on the screen, as you can see, we have the Visual Studio Code open. So I'm going to create a file here. So for creating, I'm going to just type here. So what you are going to do is you are going to type from the virtual. For example, my camera is capturing my video right now. So I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to use my hands on the keyboard to type there. Okay. So I'm going to create a file, and the name of the file is going to be the keyboard.py. Okay. Now, first of all, we need a lot of libraries, right? Like we need the OpenCV, we need the MediaPipe, then we need the Pynput, and we also need the library called the time. So, for needing all of these libraries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open here the terminal console, and I'm just going to type here pip install OpenCV dash Python. Okay. Now for installing the OpenCV while using the Python, you just have to type pip install OpenCV Python and it's going to be installed. So I've already installed this, so I'm not. So as you can see, we are getting the requirement already satisfied. Now I want to download the MediaPipe library. So for that, I'm going to type pip install MediaPipe. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just type here, and as you can see, I'm getting here something called as the requirement already satisfied, which means I've also installed this one. Now, one more new library we are going to use. So we have not used this library yet. So we are using this for the first time. So I'm just going to type here pip install. Okay, and the name of the library is pynput. Okay, now let's press enter. As you can see, I'm getting that requirement already satisfied, which means I have already installed this. Now we don't need to install the math library because it's going to come with the Python itself. We don't need to download it right now. Now what we have to do is we have to start writing the code. So we have installed the Python libraries. So let's start by importing them. I'm going to type import import CV2. So we don't need to type here the OpenCV all of the stuff in the here because so they have given the CV2 the variable as the OpenCV. Now let's import the media pipe as MP. Okay. Now I'm going to use here the MP because wherever I have to use here the media pipe, then I have to just type here the media pipe. So what happens? I'm importing this the media pipe as MP, which means wherever I have to use, I can use it as the MP. Now we don't need to use the pi input because from that one we are going to use a library. Okay, so I'm going to type here from pi input dot keyboard, right? Then I'm going to import the controller. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using here the controller, which means that what it does is it's going to open the controller so that we can control from here. Now I'm going to add from time import the sleep. Okay, now I'm going to import here the maths because we have to do here some of the calculations. Now guys, let's start by capturing our video. So for that, what I will do is I'm going to give here something called as the capture, and then I'm going to give here something called as the cv2 dot video. Sorry, so I didn't give here the cv2. Okay, now what it does is cv2 means the open cv that we are importing. After that, we are storing that in a variable video capture. They are capturing the video, and in the brackets I'm going to give here my live video. So I'm going to give here this 0. Now if I run this python program, then my video is going to come. So I don't want that, so I'm going to type here mp hands. Okay, which is going to be a variable. So I'm going to give here something called as the mp dot solutions. Yeah, mp dot solutions we have dot hands. Okay, now I'm going to tell that like how this what we say, the how it's going to work. The like I've given the mp hands dot hands, all of the stuff, right? So just now we have imported the libraries. Now the pynput.keyboard is going to, it's a library for controlling the keyboard. Then we are capturing the key. Then we are capturing the video with the cap equal cap equal to cb2 dot video capture. After that we have the mp hands dot equal to mp solutions dot hands, which is going to initialize the MediaPipe hand tracking module. Now we are just not just typing with our hands. One more thing that we are doing here right now is it's going to detect our hands. We have done already a project called the finger detection, hand detection, where if I move my hand, then the my fingers are going to be detected and the volume is going to be increased or decreased, right? So same thing we can do that with the brightness itself, right? So it's just going to draw the what we say, it's going to detect my hands. For example, here are my hands. So here you can see here the you have some of the joints. So here I want the dots, so it's going to detect that. Now we have the hands. So after that what I have to do, we have the mp hands, right? After that we are going to create a variable called hands, where we are going to call this mp hands that we have used, right? Mp hands. Okay, now in this case I just want to make it big. Okay, now the reason that we are using here is just because we have to detect here the hands. So I'm going to call this the function called the hands that we are not created. Okay, so it's a built-in function. We have it. Okay, uh, hands equal to mp hands dot hands. Okay, now one more thing that we don't want is it's going to just detect. So we don't I just don't want here the lines here. I also want here the dotted lines. So it's going to connect in here. So for that I'm going to give here the mp draw, where it's equal to mp dot solutions, where I'm going to draw here the utils. So draw utils. Okay, now I'm going to explain this after some time, right? We have the mp dot. Now one thing that we have to do is we want here the keyboard. So I'm not going to type the whole keyboard, right? So for that I'm going to just keep here the letters, the keys that are on the keyboard, like just the alphabets and some symbols. So I will just start by typing keys. Yeah, let's give here itself keys is equal to, I'm going to give them in the square brackets. So I'm going to use here the two square brackets. Now I'm going to just type here the alphabets that are on my keyboard. Okay, so let's start by giving here the q. So guys, I'm going to skip here the big video because it's going to take a lot of time for typing all of these letters. Okay, so guys, as you can see here on the screen that I have written all of these letters, and with that I have written here some program, some code here, right? So just now we have written till here. Now what we have to do is, as you can see, the keys that I'm going to use here, these are just used for storing the letters. For example, when I open the camera and the letters are going to be on the above here, right? So I'm going to save this here itself. Okay, now we have the keyboard controller, which is going to show all of the buttons. It's going to control the buttons on the screen. Okay, now what I have done is I have created a class for storing the button size, and for storing the button size, for storing the colors, all of those stuff. For example, right now we have this cb2. So I just return all of this just because it's going to take a lot of time, so I'm going to explain it here itself. So here, as you can see, we have drawn something called as the def draw, right? Now here we have the def draw. Now in the class, it's going to store here. It's going to define a class to store the information about the virtual keyboard buttons, including their positions and their size and their text label. Okay, now we have used here the draw function, right? Now draw function, what it's going to do, it's going to do is it's going to take an image and list of stored variables keyboard buttons. right? Now it's going to draw the virtual keyboard on the image with the rectangles for buttons and the text labels. And then at the end it's going to return the updated image. So what it does is it's going to draw those boxes that we are seeing on our keyboard, actual keyboard. So those boxes are going to come on the virtual box, on the virtual virtual keyboard. Okay, after that we are going to after that we have just type here the stored variable, right, where loops through the keys list to create the instances of the store class for each button and appends them to store the stored var list. Now what we have to do is we have to add here the while loop, because these loops are going to continue here, right? So for continuing them, I'm going to copy this some code. Okay, wait, wait for some time. Okay, so here I'm going to copy some more code here. I have already written this code. Now I'm going to make some changes here after some time, but I'm going to change here some of the colors. Okay, now we have the MP draw. Yeah, MP draw. I have done here some mistake. MP draw. Okay, now that's what the mistake that I have done here. Okay, now so anyhow we have with this code. Now we are using here the while loop. So with the while, so it's a loop, we all know. Now we are calling the cap that we have used as the variable before, right? Now we have the success, so it's going to show that whether it is successful or not. Is it going to be successful or not? So it's going to confirm that later on. Now we have if results dot multi hand landmarks. So we have all of these kind of stuff. Now I'm going to explain you each code. So here as you can see we have the stored bar. Now the main loop, what it's going to do is it's going to continuously capture the frame from the webcam, and then it's going to process them, right? After that we have the hand tracking and the landmarks. Now it's going to capture an image from the webcam and it's going to process it with the hand tracking model, and then it's going to extract the hand landmarks if any hands are detected, if they are detected. Okay, and then at the end it's going to draw the landmarks on the image, right? So the while loop is going to do all of the stuff. Now it's going to detect that, but it should also detect the gestures, right? For each detected hand landmark, like example, the fingertips, these are the tips, right? Now it checks if it is inside the boundaries of any virtual keyboard. Okay, if it is inside the boundary of virtual keyboard, and then it's going to check for each box. For example, there are 26 letters. So let's say it's my finger is on the letter called B. Okay, now it's going to detect that if there is there. If it is on the B, if it is on any letter, for example, let's say it's on the B. Now it's going to make that letter B in the red color, right? So that's going to happen. Now, if a landmark is within a button's boundary, then it highlights the button with a blue rectangle, and then it's going to calculate the distance between two hand marks 8 and 12, which is 8 and 12. Okay, then we have the keyboard interaction. For example, here, yeah, we have the keyboard interaction, all of the stuff. First of all, let's run this program and let's see how it's going to work. Let's wait for some time. As you see, it's taking some time for running. Now guys, as you can see that our program is right now running, but right now we are not getting any window here, right? Because we didn't write here the code for that. So I'm going to write some more code. So I'm going to close this one. Now I'm not going to type all of the code, so just I'm going to paste here itself. So we have the if. So no, I have to paste here something like this. Okay, now we have if lm list. So we have already created a lm list, right? So here we have created as, okay, so we have given it the brackets. So anyhow we are calling this if it is the case, for button in the stored variable. So here we are storing here the variable stored where we have the empty where we are using for append, right? We are going to store them in this one, and then we are calling that, so the stored variable in this buttons, right? Now now as you can see I am using here the rectangles, which is going to be the size. So here these are the coordinates, x and y are the coordinates here. Now I'm going to complete here the code, and then at the end it's going to come easily. So anyhow we have the sleep, and then after that we don't need here till here, right? So here I'm going to give you something called as image, which is equal to the draw. Yeah, which is equal to the draw, where I'm going to give here img, and then it's going to be equal to no. So I have to give here this one after the image img that we have already created. So I'm calling the image which I have already created, so don't be confused. So after that I'm going to call this stored variable, and then I'm going to store here the cv2 dot im show, because I have to show here the image, right? Image cv2 dot im image show im show, and then in the brackets I'm going to show here the virtual key. So the name is like, for example, as you can see on the Visual Studio Code, I'm getting something like this, the virtual keyboard. I'm getting the file. So the heading of that window is going to come something like that. Now I'm going to call this IMG that I have created right now. This IMG, okay. And then I'm going to end here the code by writing if cv2 dot wait key, and in the brackets I'm going to give it the 1 millisecond. It's going to be the 1 millisecond. I'm going to give it as equal to 1 3, okay. And then at the end I'm going to give here the break. So if there is some, yeah, I have to give something like this, okay. Now I have to give here something, what to say, the, yeah, break, okay. So here we are getting some errors. I have done a mistake. Okay, I have to give here this one, the one I don't need to give here, right? Now when I press the q button on our on the q on my keyboard, then it's going to be closed. So I'm going to show you a video where I'm going to record, because where I'm going to show the virtual keyboard that I have created right now, because I'm recording here the video. So two times one camera, we can do that two at a time, okay. So guys, as you just saw the video clip which I played right now, and it's able to detect my hands, and it's also creating the, it's also built the keyboard, so I'm able to type with that, right? So as you just saw that. So anyhow guys, that's all for this video, and I hope you liked and enjoyed watching this video. So the code that I have written right now is given in the description below. So don't forget to get it from there. So thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.